Good evening, friends. Let us finish the final section, which is regarding English. Right. There are a few questions which are around sentence ordering of the paragraph. Here, right, there are few sentences around ordering of the paragraph. The question number 71 to 75. These are five questions. All questions are around given these sentences. We have to sequence them into a meaningful paragraph. That is the goal. All questions are there. The remaining 71 to 75 questions, I didn't paste the questions here because all these questions are what is the first sentence, what is the third sentence, what is the fifth sentence, likewise. All these 71 to 75 questions. If we are able to solve this paragraph, that means we will be able to solve all those five questions. Okay, let's read this. Two of the best performing major economies in 2015 were China and Brazil, with growth estimated at 7.5 and 10.5%. Okay. So they are saying China and Brazil are growing, but what so and so and so. Despite that limp growth, major US stock market indexes are up between 11 and 20% for the year. Okay. Despite that limp growth. That means there must be something related to growth before this, something related to growth before this sentence, despite that limp growth. Okay. Let's see. Even knowing where economies are headed, sometimes it is of no help to an investor. This looks independent. It is hard to anticipate the direction of financial markets. It is also looking independent. But when you are saying but, that means there is something before. But as of December, stock markets of both nations were in the red for the year. Both nations. Both nations are these nations. There is no other discussion, right? So, but means something is there before, and he's also referring to both nations, which means that is A, right? Now, by contrast, that means something else was there. Now it is contrast. The US economy is likely to have expanded at only 2.6% for the year. It is contrast with something else. Okay, so F, there is something else before F, and it's about 2.6%. Right. Now it is talking about some growth. Now, despite that limp growth, that is this growth, right? So what that means is, let's take this M. Again, is despite this limp growth, he is saying this is the limp growth. Despite that limp growth, that means after F we have B. After F we have B. Right. Uh, Despite that, even knowing then two of the best performing nations. So, but as of December, stock markets of both nations were in red color. Both nations. That means something else is there before. Which is that? Which is this? A is followed by E. Let's try to order them later. A is followed by E. Okay. After A, somewhere E should come. F should be followed by B. Okay. A is followed by E and F is followed by B. Now, what is B? Despite that limb growth. After B, can A come? Need not be. After E, can F come? The stock markets of both nations were in red field. Then F, yes. After E, F can come because as of December, stock markets of both nations were in red for the year. That means this is bad. This is bad. Something is bad because the stock market is not doing great. But by contrast, so US economy is expanded. This is not expanded. It is in red, and this is expanded. There's a contrast here. So AEFB is working, right? AEFB, these are in order. AEFB are in order. Let's look at the remaining two. Remaining two are C and D. C and D, even knowing where economies are headed, sometimes it is of no help to an investor. Okay, even knowing where economies are headed. So this cannot be a starting statement. Even knowing where economies are is of no help to an investor, right? So let's look at the other side. It is hard to anticipate the direction of financial markets. Here we are talking about direction of financial markets. And here we are talking about where economies are headed. That means he is using the same direction here. It is hard to anticipate the direction of financial markets. Okay, even when you know the direction, it is of no help to the investor. Right? So this C is following D. Though it is slightly worded differently, here D we are saying it is hard to anticipate. Anticipate means estimate the direction or foresee the direction of financial market. Here we are saying even when they know, even knowing where economies are headed, even knowing where the direction of financial market is, it is of no help. So that means D is first and C is second. D is first and C is second. After C, is A fitting? Yes. Is of no help to the investor. Why? Because they were growing at this point, two of the best performing economics. This is the direction that we know. Okay. This is growing at 7.5 and 10%. Then what happened? But this was growing fine. Direction of financial market is growing high, but this has fallen by December. Okay. But US economy, this has given a different contrast. Okay. So what the author is trying to say is, first he is giving a statement. It is hard to anticipate the direction of financial markets. But even if you know some direction, it is of no help to the investor because what the investors do, investors they invest money expecting a future growth, right? If they had expected China and Brazil, but then China and Brazil have not done good, but US only has done well, right? Even that's what he is saying. Despite the slim growth, despite that limp growth, US stock markets have still done well. This is the point that the author is trying to say, right? So D, C, A, E, F, B. This is the answer. We'll be able to solve all these 71 to 75 questions. The questions are same. The questions are which of the following would be the second sentence? Second sentence is C. Then which of the following would be the fourth sentence? Fourth sentence is E. Which of the following would be the fifth sentence? Fifth sentence is F. Which of the following is the first sentence, which is D? Which of the following would be the sixth sentence? Sixth sentence is E, F, B. Right? 71, 72, 73, 74, 75. All five questions we have solved. Now let's get to N, the next one, which is read each sentence to find out whether there is any grammatical error or it is or error in it or a wrong word has been used. Right, let's look at this. The convergence of Indian accounting standards with international financial reporting standards beginning in April is expected to pose challenges for power companies as they grapples with the significant impact of first time adoption. See, what is he trying to say? The convergence of there are Indian accounting standards and there are international financial reporting standards. These two, they are trying to bring them together. Then they are trying to bring them together in April. Then what is this expected? This is expected to pose challenges to companies as they grapple. See here, as they grapple. They should be, they should not be as with they. They run, they walk, they swim. We cannot say they runs, he runs, she runs. This is the beauty of English. This is the funny nature of English. We can say, he runs. He is singular only, but he runs. I is singular, but I run. You also run. Okay. But they also run. Okay. I also runs. I also run. You also run. They also run. But he runs. It runs. She runs. She runs. Okay. So for plural, it should come as run only. It should come as grapple only. They grapple. He grapples. He grapples is correct. He grapples is correct. I grapple is correct. Okay. She grapples is correct. You should know this grammar rules. We'll discuss in other videos also the detailed grammar rules from the basics. Right. A lot of people get confused. For now, just remember he, she, it can have runs, swims, etc. But I, you, they are all run only. No grapples. Okay. This is the wrong. This is the mistake in this sentence. Researchers at the Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore, are mapping India's solar hotspots, where year-round sunlight makes it viable of companies to set up solar power plants. What are this? What is it trying to say? Researchers said this so institute are mapping India's solar hotspots. Very good. Why? Where India's solar hotspots? Where India has got a lot of solar hotspots where year-round sunlight makes it viable of. It is not of viable for. Viable should be followed by for. Okay, viable for companies to set up solar power plants. These are called phrasal verbs. Phrasal verbs. You should learn this. You should practice them a lot. Right, we'll take detailed exercises on this so that it will be easy for you. Some companies offer 5-year plans, but there is nothing sacred about this length of time. Is there any mistake? There is no mistake in this sentence. Some companies offer only. Company offers. So this is fine. 5-year plans, but there is nothing. Is is also fine. There are. It is not there are. There is nothing sacred. There is nothing sacred about this length of time. This is fine. So 78 is correct only. The National Assembly have voted to adopt the budget. No. Assembly has voted. Assembly has voted. Assembly, there is a plural which are assemblies. Assembly, though it contains multiple people, we still take it as singular only. Assembly has voted. Okay. It's a simple one. You should know what is plural, what is singular, right? The city has lived with masks and restrictions year, for over a year, and people is experiencing pandemic fatigue. No, people is plural. People are experiencing. People are experiencing. Over a year is fine. It need not be an year. And people are experiencing. R is wrong here. Okay. So these are easy ones only. Just by looking at this, if you know the proper rules, you'll be able to solve them. Okay. But please comment if you need detailed uh, grammar lessons, then we'll pick them up also. Right. Now let's get to the next question. This is reading comprehension. Very good. This is a wonderful passage. Let's try to read and understand what he is saying. The outside world has pat answers. What is pat answers? Pat means ready-made answers. Ready-made answers, predefined answers, which are not in depth, which are not very significant, which are not really useful. Pat answers means is just by looking at this. He has pat answers means he is trying to criticize something. The outside world has pat answers concerning extremely impoverished. Extremely impoverished means extremely poor countries, especially those in Africa. In Africa, there are a lot of poor countries, and outside world have got some random answers. Okay, the answers for what questions? Concerning answers for what questions? Around questions will come later. Has got answers about these African countries. Everything comes back again and again to corruption and misrule. It seems people are saying that these countries are bad because there is a lot of corruption and misrule. Western officials argue that Africa simply needs to behave itself better. right? To allow market forces to operate without interference by corrupt rulers. Western officials they are saying these corrupt rulers are not letting the market perform, and that's why these people are still poor. This is what Western officials are trying to say. Yet the critics of African governance have it wrong. Have the critics. The author is talking about these Western officials. These are kind of critics or outside world who are kind of critics. He is saying these critics of this African governance have it wrong. They don't know what is true. Politics simply can't explain Africa's prolonged economic crisis. It is not just politics because of which is explaining this Africa's prolonged economic crisis, means prolonged this impoverished nature's prolonged poorness. The claim that Africa's corruption is the basic source of the problem does not withstand serious scrutiny. He's saying Africa's corruption. The ones who are saying that it is because of Africa's corruption, it is not true because it cannot withstand serious scrutiny. There must be other reasons. It is not because of uh, Africa's corruption. He is trying to say this. During the past decade, I witnessed how relatively well governed countries in Africa, such as Ghana, Malawi, Mali, and Senegal, failed to prosper, where societies in Asia perceived to have extensive corruption, such as Bangladesh, Indonesia, and Pakistan, enjoyed rapid economic growth. He is supporting his statement with this. These countries, Ghana, Malawi, Mali, and Senegal, these are properly ruled countries, well governed countries. There is not much corruption, but still, they also did not see this rapid economic growth. Whereas these countries, Bangladesh, Indonesia, and Pakistan, is trying to say they have extensive corruption, still, they have done good economic growth. What is the explanation? Every situation of extreme poverty around the world contains some of its own unique causes. There would be different causes which need to be diagnosed as a doctor would a patient. He's saying there would be different causes in every situation of every country, unique country. There would be unique causes. For example, Africa is burdened with malaria like no other part of the world, simply because it is unlucky in providing the perfect condition for the disease. He's saying Africa has got lot of malaria cases because it is unlucky. Unlucky it is unlucky in providing the perfect conditions for the disease. The disease has got perfect conditions in Africa. How? Let's see. High temperatures. Yes, Africa has got high temperatures. Plenty of breeding sites. There are plenty of breeding sites for Malarian mosquitoes and particular species of malaria transmitting mosquitoes that prefers to bite humans rather than cattle. There are some mosquito breeds that prefer humans rather than cattle. So these are all specific to Africa. Africa is unlucky because it has got a lot of this high temperature breeding sites and this specific malaria mosquitoes that prefer humans. Okay. Another myth that is developed. Myth is means it is not reality. Right. Another myth is that the developed world already gives plenty of aid to the world's poor. People are thinking that the developed world is giving lot of aid, lot of money to the poor nations. This is what some people are thinking. But he is saying that is a myth. That is not true. He is saying former US Secretary of the Treasury Paul O'Neill expressed a common frustration where he remarked about aid for Africa. We have spent trillions of dollars on these problems and we have damn near nothing to show. He is saying Paul O'Neill, he's saying they have spent trillions of dollars, but still they have nothing to show. There is no benefit. He is saying that Paul O'Neill. Right. Another myth. Now the author is saying this is a myth. One author is not agreeing to this. He is saying Paul Neil is expressing this, but there's a myth. O'Neill was no fool, no foe. Foe means opposite of friend. Indeed, he wanted to fix the system so that more US aid could be justified. O'Neill actually wanted to justify the system. O'Neill wanted actually to for the aid to work so that he can justify giving the aid to the US Parliament maybe. But he was wrong to believe that large flows of aid has been squandered because O'Neill is probably believing that all the amount that is given to these nations, this corrupt uh, leaders are taking that debt or pocketing that. Probably he's trying to say this, but the author is saying it is not so. Okay, he's wrong to believe that vast flows of aid to Africa has been squandered. Squandered means wasting the money, wasting, throwing away the money. That is proper wastage without any utilization. That is squandering. He was wrong to believe that vast flows of aid has been squandered. This is not right, is what he is saying. Is what the author is saying. President Bush said in a press conference that as the greatest power on the face of the earth, we have an obligation to help the spread of freedom. Okay, we have an obligation. Obligation means it is moral. Means they have to mandatorily do this. It's a kind of moral obligation. Moral means they are bound to do this. Obligation means they are bound to do this because they are greatest power on there. They have the responsibility to do this. The responsibility to spread the freedom, to feed the hungry. They have this responsibility, moral responsibility to feed the hungry. This is what Bush is saying. Yet, how does the US fulfill its obligation? Then, how is this US fulfilling its this moral responsibility? US aid to farmers in poor countries to help the US aid to farmers in poor countries to help them grow more food runs at around 200 million per year. He's saying every year US gives 200 million to these farmers, far less than one per person per year for the hundreds of millions of people living in subsistence farm households. There are hundreds of millions of people who are living as farmers, and his US is given 200 million, hundreds of millions. Everyone is not even getting $1. One person is not even getting $1. So the author is trying to say, while the US and all are saying that they have given lot of money, author is trying to say there is no money. They have not given any money. From the world as a whole, the amount of aid per African per year is really very small, just 30 per sub-Saharan African in 2002. He's saying over the year, $30 only, $30 only each African would have got as a fund. This is what he is saying. 30, each amount of aid per African aid that was received was only $30. $30 is around 2,500 rupees. 30 into 4, right? 30 into, sorry, 80. Around 2,400 rupees yearly. Right. That's what he's saying. Of that amount, again, after modest amount, this is again a small amount. Of the modest amount, almost 5 was actually for consultants of the donor countries. Of this 30, 5 was going to consultants. More than 3 was for emergency aid. 3 was going to emergency aid. And 4 was for serving African debts. And 5 was for debt relief operations. Okay. So 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus 5, right? 5 plus 5 plus 4 plus 3. 10, $17 are going here and there only. It's not even reaching sub-Saharan public. That's what he's trying to say. The rest of this, after this 17, 18, rest about 12 went to Africa. The remaining did not even go to Africa, he's trying to say. Because something has gone to consultants, something has gone to emergency aid, something has gone to some debts, like this, like this. So only 12 has gone to Africa. Since money down the drain argument is heard most frequently in US, it's worth looking at the same calculation for US aid alone. Right. So because US people are continuously claiming that they have spent a lot of money, still there are no benefits. The other is trying to say what happened to the money that US has given. Okay, in 2002, US gave $3 per sub-Saharan African. For each African, they have given $3. That is roughly 240 rupees. Taking out the parts for US consultants and technical cooperation, foods and other emergency debt relief, the per African came to grand total of 6 cents. Nothing, not even a dollar. It is just 6 cents. That is coming from US to Africa. The US has promised repeatedly over the decades as a signatory to global agreements like the Monterrey Consensus of 2002 to give a much larger proportion of its annual output, specifically up to 0.7% of gross national product, to official development assistance. US is a signatory to this consensus, and it is supposed to give 0.7% of GNP. The US failure to follow, though, has no political follow domestically. Nobody bothers from in their home country, even if it doesn't give. Of course, because no one not one in a million US citizens even know of statements like the Monterey consensus. Not one in million. So no one knows that what is Monterey consensus. US would have signed it, but domestically, the public don't even know, they don't even care. That's what the author is trying to say. But no one should underestimate the salience that it has around the world. This is important, the other is trying to say. Salience is important to the world. We should not underestimate. Spin as American might about their nation's generosity, the poor countries are fully aware of what the US is not doing. He's saying Americans might feel that they are very generous, but the poor countries are fully aware of what the US is not doing. US is not giving basically. US is not giving any money that the poor countries are aware, but Americans might feel that their country is very generous. So the nature of this comprehension, the nature of this paragraph or of this article is that he is criticizing American people or Westerners who say that they are giving a lot of money to African countries, but still Africa is not doing anything. He is saying that the crux of the statement is saying that they are not even giving any money. Okay, and Africa's bad state or impoverished state is mostly because of malaria or it's because of its unique causes, which is given one example, which is malaria. Right? He's saying the crux of it, the summary of it is he's saying Americans are feeling that their money is wasted, but in fact they never gave any money. That is what he is trying to say. The passage seems to emphasize that the outside world has correct understanding of the reasonable aid provided by US to the poor countries. No, not at all. Not even 1 in 10 people in America know what exactly is this Montessori consensus. Right, and most likely, most of these people are feeling that they already have given lot of money. None of the and these people, but in fact, the money that is given is less than $1 per head, and it is coming to 6 cents. So people don't have that understanding. So this is wrong. Definite information about what is happening in underdeveloped countries. No, this is wrong. The author's claim is that people don't know only. He's trying to educate. Stopped extending any financial aid to the underdeveloped countries. No, this is not there in the paragraph. Misconception of aid given to the poor nations by development countries. Yes. He is saying there is misconception. People are thinking that their aid was given, and people are thinking that people are wasting money, but it is not so. He is saying that there is money itself is not given. And whatever money that was given, it doesn't even reach this country because it goes into other places like consultants, like debts, etc. So this is answer D. D is the correct answer. Now, according to the Westerners, to eradicate poverty of African nations lies in Westerners are believing yes, corruption is thing, corruption or improving their own national behavior. It is what it is also given. Yet the critics of African governments have got wrong. Western officials argue that Africa simply needs to behave better. See, it is given. That means it is uh, because they don't behave better to allow market forces without interference by corrupt rulers. Okay, without interference corporate, they need to learn how to behave better. This is the one answer. Misrule, prolonged economic crisis. No, this is the result. Misrule and none of this. No, it is not none of this. Improving their own national behavior. Okay. The third one. The author has given the example of Bangladesh, Indonesia, and Pakistan in support of his argument. Bangladesh, what is saying? Bangladesh, India, Indonesia, and Pakistan all have high corruption, but still they progress. That's what he was trying to say. Corruption is a major culprit of the way of prosperity. No, it is he's saying the opposite. Even though they have corruption, they still progress very fast. Misgovernance hampers the prosperity of nations. It is not about that. He's saying despite rampant corruption, nations may prosper. Yes, this is what he was trying to say. Developed nations arrogantly neglect underdeveloped countries. No, this is not the point. None of this. No. So this is the correct answer. The author has mentioned Ghana as a country. Ghana has country with what is it? Reasonably good governance. He has mentioned that, right? Though they have got good governance, still their economic condition did not improve. That's what he has said. He has mentioned Ghana and few other countries. Not about correct relationship, definitely no. There is no talk about natural resources, and definitely he's saying Ghana also did not have any rapid economic growth. Okay, the cases of malaria in Africa are mainly due to Climatic conditions, condition for breeding. Yes, this is true. High temperature. Yes, this is also true. Malaria carries liking for human blood in preference to other dog petal. Yes, this is also true. He has mentioned all these things in the paragraph. So A, B, C, D are true. All of these are true. So reading comprehension, we just need to understand clearly what the paragraph is. We need to be careful while reading and understanding. Right? Now, few more words from the same paragraph. How many questions were given here? Here, 81 to 90. Right. This 10 questions. One paragraph, 10 questions. Right. 81 to 90. Obligation. Obligation we just discussed. It's a moral responsibility. Moral binding. Okay. That is obligation. Moral binding. We discussed. Obligation is moral binding. Then squander. Squander also we discussed. It is wasting money. Wasting money is spending wastefully. It is not spending judiciously. It's not donation. It's about wasting money. Right? Modest. Modest is about humble. Modest nature is humble nature. Right? So then myth. Myth is which is not real. So opposite. Here we are talking about opposite. Opposite means opposite of myth is real. Is reality. What is extensive? Extensive means it is available everywhere. Fully there is in the big amounts. Extensive means in big amounts. So opposite is negligible. Okay. Abominable. Abominable means extremely unpleasant and causing horror. That is abominable. And extensive means covering a large area, great in amount. So opposite is negligible. Okay. Let's go to the final 10 questions. These are all. This is a closed test here. Uh, the paragraph, you have to fill certain words. Economic backwardness of a region is dashed by the coexistence of unutilized dash on the one hand and natural resources on the other. So he's saying economic backwardness of a region is dashed by two reasons. He's saying is by coexistence, two things are existing simultaneously on two different sides. He's saying on one hand, other hand, this is economic backwardness. On one side, this is this, and another side, this is this. Both are not on the same side. Okay, so that means he's not taking any side. Economic backwardness is caused by two reasons. If he's saying is caused by two reasons, then both will be on the same side. Here he's saying on one side it is this, another side it is this. That means it's a balanced thing. Is defined probably. We should get some word which is close to defined or can be explained, something like this. Okay, let's see what exactly are this developed. It is so developed is taking one side. No, developed, cured, improved, enhanced. These are taking sense. No, it is not. He's talking about characterize. Characterize is the correct word. Is kind of defined by the coexistence of unutilized on the one hand and dash natural resources on the other hand. These two should become opposite to each other. Unutilized unutilized manpower on the one hand and the other thing is unexploited natural resource on the other. Is these two should become opposite. And why manpower and unexploited are fitting each other? He is trying to say on one side you have a lot of manpower who are not working or who don't have jobs. On the other side, you have a lot of natural resources which you can exploit and create employment, which you are not doing. Right? These two coexistence of two opposites, he is trying to say. Okay. On one hand, on the other hand, that means they're opposite. They should oppose each other. So, unutilized manpower, right? Unutilized funds, no, it is not. Unutilized finance, unutilized source doesn't even fit here. Unutilized manpower and having natural resources which for which you can use manpower, right? He's talking about natural resources. Natural resources, the opposite of natural resources. The opposite of utilizing natural resources is not using the manpower, right? So this one, second one will become manpower. The third one will become unexploited. Okay. Uh, Economic development essentially means a process of dash change. Dash change, it should be an upward change, also an improvement kind of thing. Economic development, because it is development, whereby the real per capita income of any economy increases over a time. Economic development. So these two should be positive words. Economic development essentially means a process of 94. 94 is like drastic upward changes. Upward change, whereby the real per capita income of the economy increases. It should come again. See, nothing else is even fitting. We can directly say it is increases. Increases over a period of time. Then a simple but meaningful question arises. What is the question? What causes economic development? What is the reason of economic development? Then that is the question. Or what makes a country develop? The question has absorbed the dash of scholars of socio-economic changes for decades. Scholars of socio-economic changes. These are because these are scholars who should naturally gather their attention, right? These are scholars. Because these are scholars, they study the subject in detail, right? So it should be attention rather than plans. Scholars don't need to plan; they actually study the trends, etc. Why it has happened? They explain why things are happening in whatever way. Right? It is not about resources of scholars. No, not at all. Attempts of scholars, not at all. It has absorbed the attention. Absorbed the attention is the correct one that is fitting here. Right? Scholars are trying to understand why economic development happens, going through the dash history of developed countries. Here, this is again a balanced of developed countries. We are not saying good, bad, bright, etc., etc. That's history. Probably it should be economic history, which is what see glorious, good, bad, ancient. It and all doesn't matter. We are talking about economics here, so it should be economic history. How developed countries like America, Russia, and Japan man is essentially found as dash in the process of economic development. So initially we started with manpower. So that's why he's trying to say man is important. Man is important in economic development. So 98, man is pivotal. Pivotal means is very important. Neutral, insignificant, accidental, vicious, not at all. So he's trying to portray man as the one who can create economic development because he has started with manpower also. So right. So here man is in a pivotal position. Japan, whose economy was damaged from the ravages of Second World War. So what damage? So there must be an adjective here. Was damaged. There is severely damaged, badly damaged, highly damaged, something like this. Okay. Is the example was 99. 99 is what? Increasing damage? No, 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 no. Gradually, deliberately, badly. Deliberately is not the one. A world war suddenly happened and it is not gradual damage also. Deliberately is not intentional. Right? It is not nothing when it is not related to intentional. Damage from the ravages of Second World War. Okay. He is trying to say is the example of our time to dash kingdom role in economic development to uh, to validate is the correct one here. Okay, the first one, this damage. The damage is not fast, slow, and all. It is damage is about bad damage. In this, increasingly damaged. No, the question is was badly damaged. Okay, badly damaged, nothing else fits here. Gradually damaged. No, it's not gradually damaged. It is not deliberately damaged also. It is not always damaged. He is saying it is damaged during World War only. It is not always damaged. It is not increasingly damaged. Increasing damage means continuously the damage is increasing. No, it is not. Okay, badly damaged is the correct one. Now, badly damaged, now he is trying to say, even though it was badly damaged, the example, still he is trying to say it has improved. You see, because history of developed countries. After Second World War, he is saying Japan has developed. Right, Japan has developed. That means he's trying to portray this in a positive world. Though it was badly damaged, they have done something to improve this economic development. This the role of the government the government has done a lot of things to improve the economic development. So this should be a positive word, which is among this pivotal and among this Enlighten, validate, negate, underestimate, belittle. These three will not be there. Validate and enlighten. The one should be validate. Okay. To validate kingdom rule in economic development. It is not about enlightening them. It is about what they have already done to validate that what they have done. Cool, guys. I think we have finished all the 100 questions now. Hope you have understood all these questions. Any doubts? Please write over the comments or reach out on WhatsApp. We'll discuss this in detail. Okay. All the best, guys. Take care. Bye bye.